CHATBACK on RCV News.
This morning, we do have constituency check in with what's happening. We've been having these constituency checks around, different constituencies, and this particular time, we are traveling all the way to Ndola, and to be precise, we are in Mukubwa constituency. And my guest this morning is the area member of parliament for Mukubwa, Honorable Warren Mwambazi. Good morning and welcome to CHATBACK, Honorable.
Thank you so much, Angel. Good morning, and good morning, listeners out there. I'm very, very happy, Angel. I must say that to come to Radio Christian Voice, and for me, this has been home, and we've discussed in the past a lot of issues, and I'm very happy to be here today.
Yeah, actually, we haven't had you since I think it should be before the elections, right?
Yes.
That was the last time you were here.
Yes.
No. Welcome, and it's always great to have you back on CHATBACK. All right, Honorable, how are the people of Mukubwa doing this morning? For starters.
Thank you so much, Angel. And people of Mukubwa are doing well. And I must make mention that they are well. I greeted them this morning just to find out. I was talking to various leaderships. But I must also mention that we still have challenges as a constituency, which we are pushing with local leadership to ensure that we mitigate our people and ensure that our people live in an environment which is conducive, as it were.
Yeah, talking about issues, of course, that are affecting the people of Mukubwa. Right here in Lusaka, Honorable, you're saying that load shedding really has become something that is, affecting each and every citizen of Lusaka. But we also do understand that this load shedding hasn't spared constituencies like Mukubwa. How are they coping with this 8-hour load shedding?
Thank you so much, Angel. Load shedding is a huge detriment, not only to the people of Mukubwa, but also to the economy, because we've got our brothers and sisters in markets, Mushili Market, Kansengo Market, Mutendere Market, Garden Market, and their livelihood, Angel, is to do fabrication. They make, you've seen a lot of things which are made in garden, door frames, window frames. And that's an industry on its own. And that is a livelihood on which people survive. If there's no power, then how do they feed their families? And this 8-hour load shedding is got a huge detriment because, as it were, if you look at the economy, the government is grappling to push and ensure that the economy picks up. But when we start having these issues of load shedding, it starts to push back. We're supposed to push forward and ensure that all industries are firing. But when there's a pushback, that is an adverse effect of load shedding. Has hampered a lot of small scale and medium enterprises in our jurisdictions, in our markets. Barbermen, people go to the saloon, they're not able to. By the time power is coming, they've knocked off. It's dark. No one wants to go to the salon. No one wants to go and do barbing. So it's also important that government comes up with a robust system on how can we alleviate some of these issues, especially in the markets, in the hospitals, in the clinics, to ensure that our economy keeps firing. Okay, households, yes, we can spare a bit and have these schedules, though some of the schedules are not consistent. But it's important that we come up with a relief for these markets, for these units, so that our people in those areas can still carry on, can still feed the family. Because if the cost of living is high and also now it's hampered by load shedding, then how do we mitigate that gap? It becomes difficult. So we are feeling the heat and the people are feeling the heat. So it's important that mitigation measures are quickly looked into. I think the biggest issue I think we have, which we need to migrate from, is a dependence of water. Because all we do mostly as Zambia is hydro generation.
Yeah, and just this actually leads me to my next question. Seeing that, we've had load shedding for over 10 years now. I think load shedding started in the late 2007, 8, 9. That's when really we saw, load shedding take really a huge toll on the country. Yes, we do understand that this is a legacy issue, but are you satisfied with how we've dealt this, issue of load shedding every time it comes year in, year out?
Angel, I must mention that I'm not satisfied, and I think as a country, first and foremost, we need a paradigm shift on how we mitigate some of these issues, because if we continue bickering and every time it's politicking, then we're not going to go anywhere. What we need to look at, yes, there's been a lot of investment, there's been Kafue Lower, there's Mamba and all that, and these are supposed to feed in the national grid. But what is mostly that dependent is hydro. Okay? So if we're saying, if we don't have water, but we've got the facilities to generate, we've got the capacity, but we don't have enough water in the Caribbean. We didn't have enough rains. So then what is the way forward? Let's go nuclear. We can have nuclear power plant to supplement on the hydro, because issues of climate change are before us, Angel, and they're not going anywhere. So we need, as a country, to start moving forward and finding the the long-term solution for this effect, because governments will come. Government will go. We'll still be talking about load shedding. We're still looking at, we need to make bold decisions as a country. Let's go nuclear power. Let's have nuclear power plant which can feed into the grid, and then we can mitigate some of these things. If we don't have water or sufficient rains, we use the nuclear. If we have sufficient water, we balance and export power.
Yeah, but why do you think it's taken us this long now to start thinking about nuclear? I mean, over 10 years, load shedding this year, okay, yes, it's a little bit better, but the other year, why has it taken us this long to shift?
Angel, our mindset as Zambians, I think, is also one issue to blame, because for Zambians, everything is politics. Everything is a myth. Everything is, it will cause us problems. There are people who are using nuclear power plants. Go to Dubai.
Everything is about that we don't have capacity.
That is the thing. But we are a nation. We are a sovereign nation. We've got capacity. We can come up with a nuclear plant, okay, to mitigate this issue. The second issue is political will, because these things can be done. We've seen them. Look at Tanzania. Not too long ago, they were launching first ever electric train. Okay? It's political will. It's also pride. We need to be a proud nation and to say this we can do. Because what else can I say, Angel? It's back and forth. Okay? You know that we've got issues of climate change. Okay? And are not being mitigated in a quickest possible time. Okay? So then how do you plan? You plan your migration. We're going to be using hydro. Eventually, let's start a nuclear power station. Okay? That is how we ought to think as a people.
Yeah. As Member of Parliament, Widya, I know that obviously you're in close conversations with the Honorable Minister for Energy. Are these conversations that you're having with the Minister? Do you knock on his door and say, look, I think I have this idea. Let's see how we can maybe ensure that this thing comes to happen? Are those conversations there?
Angel, these conversations now, they've been had. And a lot of, not only me, my other colleagues, we chat. We've got caucuses at Parliament. And I must make mention that Honorable Kapala, the Energy Minister, is a very accommodative person. We chat, we talk. And these are some of the prospects. He's an engineer. We've spoken about them. And these are some of the prospects the government is brainstorming on. But what we're saying is, we need to ensure that when some of these programs are started, that's when I came back to say politics, because you find probably maybe this dispensation can start this project. Another one comes and says, nuclear, no, it starts to disadvantage. No, we don't know how they even started this. Let's stop it. That is a tendency we have as Zambians. Okay, everybody wants to start something differently. You found the house is being built. You come and say, the way the foundation was done, let's discard it. Let's go. Let's be sincere. These are our resources. This is our country. We need to have continuity for a purpose, because by the end of the day, we are all Zambians and we live in this country, Angel. So some of these talks, when they're started and they start moving, let's support them, because it will help us to mitigate as a country. It will help us to move forward and migrate and ensure that we are not a big economy. If our colleagues from the markets, from the saloons, from the small industries, there are issues with power, they don't have maximum production. Their investors start to lay them off. Because then how are they going to sustain their lives? So this is a serious issue. And no politician should trivialize this issue. We should ensure that we all put our heads together and help and suggest and help government to say, how do we move forward to ensure that our people, yes, there was a solar plant which was commissioned. We need much more of that. But you see, we need to have a systematic plan, Angel. What is our plan from now going forward? Apart from solar, okay? Because solar also, we're depending on the sun, okay? What other energy source can we come up with to ensure that we mitigate this shortage, not only in Zambia, but in the region? We can export. We've been exporting. So these are some of the talks we've had, and which we should ensure that we have, and we start progressively implementing to ensure that they are now implemented in the future.
Yeah, so much that has to be done really in the area of load shedding. All right, now still maybe sticking with the people of Bwana Mukubwa, another thorny issue really is to do with, I'll start with the fuel prices, because we also do understand that people of Bwana Mukubwa are very much economical, so much economic activities that are happening, and all those economic activities that are happening, of course, fuel is involved in one way or the other. And I know these, your lovely people have been calling you and saying, Honorable, I think fuel na idura sana. What do you make really of these all-time fuel prices that we're experiencing as a nation?
Thank you so much, Angel. The issue of fuel is a very topical issue. First and foremost, Indeni Petroleum sits in my constituency. Tazama pipeline sits in my constituency. And the issue of fuel is a very, very important issue, which is it's part of our economical cycle. If fuel goes up, basic commodities go up. A lot of things go up. Taking our children to school, it becomes an expense. Everything escalates, and it will now come to the cost of living, because when fuel goes up, everything goes up. My take on the fuel, first and foremost, I mean, most of us, like Zambia, for example, is a landlocked country, and we don't produce fuel. That is for a fact. But what is imperative is to come up, I think we've suggested from time that the revision of fuel prices, probably our colleagues even from other countries are shifting from a monthly to a quarterly. Why? Because if you do it quarterly, the planning becomes easy, because you can hedge and say, for the next 3 months, we'll have a price which is stable, and it's the same. Okay? Then when that 3 months is finishing, then you are saying, oh, now let's look at, we are reviewing. Okay, there's hedging. Okay, this is because that's the only way we can cushion the people.
Yes,
people needs to be cushioned. Okay, and cushion can be done through price support. Of course, we're still under IMF regulations and guidelines in which fuel cannot be subsidized, which for sure is not sustainable, because you push in a lot of money into fuel, but for a temporal.
So even without IMF, you are of the view that fuel subsidies are not sustainable.
They're not sustainable, Angel, because
no matter how high they reach.
Because you see,
let's say for instance, SF Kapadi or 40 kwacha. Do you still feel that that's still not sustainable subsidies?
It's not sustainable. And why do I say so? There are other mitigation measures we can take, okay, which a country can take, okay. Fuel, when you go today and say we want to buy this much of the fuel, let's say want to buy 200,000 metric tons of fuel, okay, you can lock up the price for a certain period of time, okay. And when you look up the price, that's why we're saying it can be done in quarters. It can be done in quarters. Why? Because you look for that foreseeable quarter, 3 months. You have a price which is stable, and then you are brainstorming and looking at you're looking at the Platts, which is a world price, fuel price, all these things, and monitoring to ensure that when moving forward, okay, the next 3 quarters, how is it going to be? Okay, even when the government, when they give a tender, they say they are giving a tender to use a facility such as a pipeline for someone to bring fuel. You're going to tell them, give us a price. We can lock a price for 6 months. Okay.
Yeah, but also maybe the question would be, why has it taken this long for government to revise this? Because last year, when we had the new PS that was being sworn in at the Ministry of Energy,
yes,
it's something that the president said, look, maybe let's look at how we can revise the pricing, and it's we're going to almost a year now, and things are the same. So why do you think is a problem? Why has it taken government this long to revise this, the review of these fuel prices?
Enjoy the processes.
At least we are closer to them than we are.
the processes. These are our colleagues. We meet at Parliament. We talk and discuss. And also we have some of them come to appear before our committees. And those are some of the questions which we ask as members of Parliament.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, I think the president gave that directive that it should be looked at, and we should interrogate the ministry now and our colleagues to ask, how far have you gone with this process? Because it's hampering us, you see, as we move forward. Because look at even just when the cost of transportation is high, then everything becomes expensive. If I'm moving from here to Lusaka, I've bought something cheaper. Say I bought meal from Lusaka, I'm taking it to the constituency. It will be maybe 200 something kwacha. I add transportation, it will land there very expensive. What if I saved? Nothing. I would rather go and negotiate locally there with a miller locally and get, even if it's slightly higher, but I'm not going to pay the transport from here to Ndola. Yeah. So these are some of the issues why we're saying we should have a system which blocks a certain period. We have, because even for planning purpose, for these 3 months, this is the price of fuel. Is not going to go high or up. Then you do your planning and your pricing. After 3 months, if it goes down, if it goes up, then now there's that mitigation, because people can have a relief this time. Okay, people get happy when the fuel drops. Okay,
of course.
But when it goes high, it's an uproar.
Yeah.
I mean, that is normal, because every time we want to ensure that prices are lower, things are cheaper.
Yeah.
So it's a mentality which every person has. We want to save, you see, but it's also good to plan. I think for me, on the issue of the fuel price, that is a major mitigation. Then all these other avenues of government giving permits, because government gives permits to use the pipeline. Okay, so if Angel, you get a permit, you've got a cheaper guy who wants to bring fuel, and you've got your oil marketing companies who can buy from you. You bring. You see what I mean? You bring and transport it. So we need to ensure that all those issues of fuel importation, some are also depoliticized. Okay, there's fair playing ground where everybody who's got muscle can participate.
Yeah. So you think there's a lot of politics also in the procurement of fuel?
Fuel is always political. Angel, we cannot beat by the bush. But the main issue,
and does that have an effect on the final price at the pump?
Of course. If you have a lot of people bringing fuel, there's competition. Of course. Okay, because as we speak, government does not import fuel. Okay, they'll give quotas to other people. They'll float tenders, and people will bring the fuel and sell the fuel. Okay, but they are regulated. Okay, so if you're saying, can we extend that a lot of people can bring in this fuel at different markets, you see what I mean, and are regulated, then when there's a competition, prices go down. That's why there should be competition. If you are selling millimill, I'm selling, we've got 10 millers, you remove a 10 kwacha, I think Angel is selling more, I also going to remove a 20 kwacha. Then there's competition, and now there's price mitigation. So these are some of the issues which also needs to be looked at.
Yeah. Another issue really that is also topical and thorny really is the issue of Indeni. You just rightly said that it sits in your constituency.
Yes.
Maybe for starters, as area member of parliament, how do you feel on the current status of Indeni? Because I've had conversations with people of Mukubwa, and they say, look, we felt like, apart from the mine, we also felt that Indeni is something that was taken away from us.
Yes.
Because the way it was previously, there were so many economic activities happening around Indeni. Others would say Bwana Mukubwa is Indeni, Indeni is Bwana Mukubwa.
Yes.
At the current, state of Indeni, as area member of parliament, how do you feel and what do you make of everything that's been happening at Indeni?
Angel, thank you so much. Indeni is dear to my heart, and as well as Tazama, and so many other industries, but these are some of the, I think, if not two remaining quasi-government infrastructures in our region. And Indeni had 327 workers plus suppliers who were benefiting directly from their activities, being in a shutdown, being in supplies and all that. So for me, it's got a very huge impact in my constituency. And the migration and also changing the business model of Indeni from a refinery to an oil marketing company, because now it's Indeni Energy. For me, it was okay, but we needed to have a proper roadmap, and a very supportive roadmap from the government, or be it under IDC, very supportive, and some deliberate measures to make sure that Indeni is given, or even incentives for us to make sure that it takes off quickly. Because the transitioning from refinery to oil marketing company,
quite a process.
But how do we ensure that Indeni takes off? Indeni has become a baby, and a baby needs a lot of nurturing and support from the government to deliberate policies to tell Indeni can't do this. Indeni shouldn't even be here. Give them. Let's push them. Let them start to run, because you cannot just take a baby and you throw them in the deep end. That is what first needed to be done. Yes,
and that wasn't done.
Yes, not to a larger extent, Angel, because Indeni by now should be thriving. But their level of operation is not as much as we speak, because if it was given so much support, yes, support has been given, but there's much more which can be done, because by the time we are speaking now, a lot of people could have been assimilated back to Indeni. Because how do you assimilate people if there's no activity?
So for the sake of curiosity and those that are listening, they could be wondering, so then what is really happening right now at Indeni? What's happening there now?
Now, what is happening now, Indeni is still operating as an oil marketing company. They're able to buy fuel and sell, and they're doing that. But what I'm saying is,
using the Tazama pipeline.
I don't know where they're sourcing now, because I haven't heard that, because we talk. I ask questions, I talk with a MD and so many other people from Indeni. But what I'm saying is they should be given so much leeway, and support, deliberate support, to ensure that they sustain themselves, they start running. Yes, they're supplying to the mines, but not at a larger extent. They are quasi-government. It was employing a lot of people. Yes, there were a lot of issues in operations when it was a refinery. The equipment is old. It was producing high sulfur content of diesel and all that. And I think maybe looking at the assessment and financial analysis and the viability, it was thought fit that it be converted and change the business model, and we see how it sustains itself. As of course, for me, that's fine. But even when we do that, let's not forget that that's a government asset. It's a national asset. So even as we streamline and change the business model, let us give it more support.
Yeah.
That is what it needs for it to take off. When it has taken off, Angel, then we can say now we are assessing, they're moving, they're declaring dividends, and finally it has taken off.
Yeah. Now let's come back to what we started with before we move to another item. So then fuel prices, because I know a lot of people from Bwana Mukubwa are actually listening right now, and they're saying, look, we've heard you, Honorable, but what are some of those solutions really that government can roll out to ensure that the price of fuel is brought to manageable levels? I know you've talked about how you feel that a subsidy is not the right way to go because it's not sustainable, but what are some of those policies that you would love government, sweeping policies that you would love government to roll out to ensure that the cost of fuel is sort of manageable to the eye?
Thank you. Andrew, first and foremost, my profession, I'm a cost accountant. And what I look at is cost. Then I'm a legal person. But mostly I've anchored on cost accounting because that's my first profession. And that's why I've mentioned to say, first and foremost, government needs to ensure that it creates a more enabling environment in terms of competition. That's why there's competition commission to ensure that a lot of people can participate. If you are running 4 lots in terms of tenders, give different people, and then let's see what comes out of it.
Yeah.
But if you run 2 tenders and you give 2 people, the same people, 1 person, those 2 tenders, there's no competition.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're talking about, because this is one of the industry which is very, very important to the nation. It drives the economy. So how then do we ensure that this industry which drives the economy is properly aligned? Okay, let's have those suggestions. We look at them. We can do a pilot. Say, okay, we are going to now start looking at, we only review fuel in 3 months. Okay, and everybody who's bringing fuel, these are the guidelines, this is a policy direction, and we are going to ensure that even when you are negotiating from your suppliers, tell them, in my country, policies, price should be for 3 months. So let's block the price. Okay, we are blocking it for 3 months. Next 3 months it will be reviewed. Then you almost have a year. Okay, so these turbulences of every month are mitigated. Okay, because what we're talking about, the effect is a turbulence. It's low today, it's high tomorrow. So it's difficult for planning. Okay, because people can't plan. Today you plan, after 30 days. Even all these people are running service stations. Okay, when they're going towards the month end, even these OMCs, all these quasi these multinations, what do? When it starts approaching the month end, they'll either hold the product and they want to see what is the direction. Oh, the world market looks like this. What about Zambian perspective? Okay, they are not increasing. Okay, because no one wants to make a loss. I come to you today, Angel, and tell you today is 29 of January. I come to you and say I want 30 million liters of petrol. I can pay you today. Okay, tomorrow you wake up. I've bought at 30 kwacha. You wake up tomorrow. It's 28. 28 by 30 million. You're going to lose maybe 3 million kwacha or 6 million kwacha overnight. Okay, that's why we're saying let's look at the plea of these people. How do we ensure that we mitigate them? 3 months you can just be giving. Okay, give, buy, get, another month comes. Then the last month now you're saying, okay guys, we blocked this price. Let's see what's the direction from a government perspective and ERB. Are we reducing or increasing? It's easy for planning and also for stabilization of the economy. It's easy because things will be constant, price will be constant for the next three months. That's what we're talking about.
Very quickly, I think let me just give you time to massage your throat, really. In case you are tuning in, you are listening to Friday's edition of CHATBACK right here on your number 1 radio station, Radio Christian Voice. My name is Angel Kasabo. Thank you so much. Wherever you are listening and watching from on Facebook. On Facebook, it is RCV News. Remember, RCV News is a platform where we do post everything current affairs. So comes right, let's get interactive. This morning, I'm privileged to be joined by the Honorable Member of Parliament for Bwana Mukubwa Constituency, Honorable Mwambazi. And also, I just forgot in the intro, I should have said the chairperson of the Parliamentary Accounts Committee, because we do love your chairing of that committee. But we'll get into that in the second hour of the program. So in case you want to be part and parcel, the number is 0956 200 490. Let's get interactive on that number. Honorable, I know you've touched on load shedding, you've touched on fuel prices. I know that time is really not on our side, but let's also I just want to find out. We've seen the prices of mealie meal. We've seen everything that's been happening. We've seen the political side of it. We've seen what agriculture experts are saying. But in all this, the president has been very clear and has encouraged people to get into production, to farm. But on top of that, government as an immediate measure has introduced through ZNS cheaper mealie meal on the market. ZNS selling for 230, I think, pay 25 kg. What do the people of Bwana Mukubwa feel of this particular, intervention? Because I've heard in some constituencies to say, look, in as much as they are bringing 230 kwacha, it's still not cheap. It's still expensive. How are the people of Bwana Mukubwa feeling on this particular item?
Thank you so much, Angel. Yes, mealie meal is expensive, and there was that intervention. For me, from my own thought process, first and foremost, we're grateful for that intervention, but that's not the solution. Because first and foremost, we've got the private sector. You've got millers dotted around the country. Okay? What probably I've been pondering on is first government to look what is our strategic reserve FRI has. Is this mealie meal? Is this amount of maize? How many millers, big millers do we have around the country? There are so many. Okay, gentlemen, come through. Let's have a meeting at the Ministry of Agriculture. The price for mealie meal is gone high. Okay, and also I want you, even as I'm submitting to you, have a dual thought. There's a floor price of maize, and there's also a price of mealie meal. When the floor price goes up, which means government is buying expensive maize, so as the private sector. Yes. Okay, then definitely the byproduct, which is mealie meal, will go up. Okay, definitely. They're not too worried about it. They'll go up. Okay, so for me, an intervention, yes, going back to the land, having more production is important, because when you have more production on the market, it will force the price to go down. Those are economical dynamics. Okay, demand and supply. But apart from that, the main issue, because ZNS will offload mealie meal range of 230. I was in Chibolia the other time at Choppies. There'll be people allowed maybe to buy 2 bags or 1 bag. I don't know. I was in Choppies. You find these young boys, they'll come buy 10 of them. When they take outside, each one has got maybe 10 or 20 bags. The mealie meal has finished. The poor woman who was on the queue, the mealie meal has finished. Those boys will take that mealie meal, and then they're paid by the ones who've given the money to go and buy. Okay? Maybe 10 kwacha or 20 kwacha per bag. I've bought 10, I've got 200, I'll take. Then that guy will try to resell that mealie meal at a higher price. Then how are we ensuring that we are mitigating? Okay? The initiative is good, but it's not trickling down to the people. Then how do we ensure that this is done? You identify, we've got 10 provinces, we've got so many millers in these provinces. We bring them and tell them, we're going to give you maize from FRI. This maize costs 4,000 kwacha per ton. Okay? As government, we are going to give you a 3.5. Okay? Let's buy 500 kwacha. Let's agree on the price. Okay, you agree on the price. Okay, this is the price. We're going to sell the mealie meal. Then you churn this maize around those millers, private millers, but you've done an indirect price control, because you've agreed on the price.
Indirect subsidy.
Yeah, of course.
Subsidy.
Of course. Well controlled.
Yeah.
Okay. Mealie meal is our staple food. Each and every household, they would rather have mealie meal than rice or bread. Okay. So you do that. Then you churn out. You are going to have uniform price. Angel, in all the provinces, because FRA has got depots dotted around the country. You tell the guy from Southern Province, if it's Choma milling, pick from Choma.
Yeah.
The guy from Mufira, if it's Matawa milling, pick from Chambeshi. You've got a guy from Northwestern Province, if it's Mtanda milling, pick from a small depot there. You've got another guy from Northern Province, pick from Kasama. You've got a guy from Eastern Province, pick from Lumezi or whatever is near Mgubudu or another area, Mtengulen.
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
There's actually another line of thought to that, because I also heard similar conversations, but not the way you've explained it. But this gentleman said, look, at the end of it, the millers are here for business.
Yes.
So in as much as that's a good intervention measure, for them, actually, millers right now, they're okay.
Yes, they're okay.
Because they know that if we buy, let's say, for instance, millers, they'll buy 350 for argument's sake, because, these are millers. So then if they put the price, let's say, at 350 for milling, well, that's okay. If anything, this person was even saying they even maybe just exploiting, because, the price for maize is expensive. So
yes.
they may even put an extra 20 kwacha just to make more money.
Yes.
So how about if they say, okay, FRA, thank you so much, but we don't want to go that way. What do we do now?
No.
Or it's a matter of policy?
Angel, this is a matters of policy. Those are our stakeholders as a country. They make business from this country, they do business within this country, and they need to work with the government. That is the way it is. You are giving them an incentive, because even them, they don't usually have adequate maize.
Yeah.
Okay? But you are giving them an incentive. They are in business. Okay? You are giving them maize at a slightly cheaper price, not for FRA to lose, not for government to lose, but you see, you are trying to, government is a service. Government is not a business, it's a service. You are providing first, imagine there's a disaster today. Will government sit and say we don't have money since we didn't make a profit, we want to mitigate this issue? No, government to be running, the stakeholders calling, they come, and this is how it can be done. And when those millers, you sit with them, okay, it's a back to back. You tell them, gentlemen, look here, we are giving you this maize, okay, go and mill, okay, then pay us when you sell, okay. It's first we are giving you money without you committing your money, as it were. We are giving you this maize before you commit the money, okay. But what we want is statistics. If we give you, let's say, 10,000 metric tons, we know you are going to produce so much of roller, so much of breakfast, so much of that, okay. So we want those returns, okay? They get the returns. We've given this one 10,000. This is what they've churned out through their mill, okay? Then that way, there's no stampede. There's no queuing up. There's no, this woman goes to chop his, someone has already bought the minimum. The same minimum, we find it in the compound at slightly higher. They even add the 50 kwacha or 100 kwacha. They're home and dry. You see what I mean? So the intervention is good, but we can do it at a larger scale, decentralized, extrapolated, okay, with this, because ZNS hasn't got a major capacity. They need to be capacitated, okay? They are trying, but they need to be capacitated. But how long will it take to increase the capacity, okay? While you have, but apart from that, there's also a private sector. People need those jobs to be employed. Okay, if those millers close, so we need to ensure that we strike a balance.
I know we only have about 3 minutes to go to the top of the hour, but let me start this conversation. I would like to know how CDF is doing in your constituency, Honorable. There's something that I read coming through from the constituency that I felt was a little bit, surprising. I'm hearing of how that people complained that a grader was bought under CDF and worked only for, I think, 6 months. And then it's not working, and then we hear of reports that you need, I think, over $1 million to work on it. I don't know how true are those stories that we're getting from Bwana Mukubwa, that funny things are happening with regards to CDF and these graders. Thank
you so much, Angel. That's why from inception, most of my things are saying we need to depoliticize some of these issues. An equipment is an equipment. Today you can buy a car, you run it. You didn't go and say, I want this one, I want that one. Okay? You said, these are the specs. We want such an equipment which can do ABCD. It's brought, it works, it's under warranty. And as we speak, it's going back to the supplier either to replace or to do what, because it's under warranty. Okay, so it's an equipment. An equipment can afford. You see, and you see how some of these equipments are bought or they come. Yes, some are pieces. They get this, they tie it. It doesn't come already assembled. It's a grader. Okay, you go to Barlow, you go to all these suppliers. They come in 2 pieces, probably not assembled well. One of the things get messed up, but it's under warranty. Okay, and what is important is fixed. It goes back. It starts working. So council is not going to spend money. Those are innuendos. Those are politicking. TC briefed me. He sent me a letter 2 days ago that the supplier will go there and pick it up, look at it. Whatever it needs to be replaced, it will be back and running, because we've bought equipment through using government resources, and we need to see that the machine is working. It will work, but it doesn't mean even if it goes back, it won't break down. It will break down. It's a machine. It breaks down. You fix it, works. It fix. That is the way it is. You see what I mean? It's like you say, I've got a new car. I won't change oil. I'll just be driving. It's new and it shouldn't break down. No. There are breakdowns. Tomorrow your tire is pricked. You go to a guy, okay, mend the tire for me. You can't say it's a new car, it's a new tires. Why are they having punctures? No, it's a.
Right, let's get into this CDF talk just after the news.
Okay,
we do have the news coming your way at 10. And just a reminder that you are listening to Friday's edition of CHATBACK right here on Radio Christian Voice. We do have Honorable Warren Mwambazi, who is the Mukubwa Member of Parliament, Independent Member of Parliament, and also the chairperson for the Parliamentary Accounts
Public Accounts Committee.
Public Accounts Committee. Thank you so much for that correction.
CHATBACK on RCV News.
In case you are just tuning in, you haven't missed much. We are now into the second hour of the program. My guest this morning is Bwana Mukubwa, Member of Parliament, Honorable Warren Mwambazi. He's with us this morning to look at, of course, issues that are affecting you, the citizenry. And just a reminder that the number is 0956 200 And also we are live on Facebook, RCV News. RCV News is a platform where we post everything current affairs. So come through and let's get interactive. Honorable, just before we went for that short break, we were just starting to talk about really, the CDF projects that, yes. But also maybe just to take you back, we've been following proceedings in Parliament really,
yes,
of how the CDF roll out the too many, would say, challenges are there with regards to, project approval and whatnot. How has been the case for Bwana Mukubwa constituency?
Thank you so much, Angel. For us as Bwana Mukubwa, first from inception, when CDF was increased from 1.6 million to 28.7 million, then subsequently to 30.6 million. We are very, very grateful to the government, the New Dawn government, as well as the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, because yes, indeed, money has trickled down to the communities in terms of community projects, grants, and loans. But let me hasten to mention that yes, we were all grappling with these regulations and getting hold on for us to have traction as we started. But as we speak now, I think even the local authorities, they've now mastered the art, because they've subsequently done it for the third time, which is 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are able now to push and also ensure that some of these issues are mitigated. First and foremost, delegation of authority from the Secretary to Treasury to a provincial system of a Director of Finance. Okay, delegation from the Ministry of Local Government to a provincial local government officer. Okay, the only one which has not been delegated, I think, as we speak, is Office of the Attorney General, which I think are underway. They are looking at that to ensure that we can expedite the process of approvals. And this has helped a great deal, because yes, the conveyancing which comes from the ministry, and once the ministry does the overall approval, then the local government officer now, a provincial local government officer, takes over, which is very good. So it has now at least streamlined. And let me also mention that I think you were aware that the CDF Act was brought back from before we went on recess to look at some of the issues which we can amend panel bit to ensure that there's a quick implementation and also robust banning in terms of funding of CDF. But also, not all is rosy, Angel, because we've got also issues of capacity. Okay, councils which handle 3-4 constituencies, 5 constituencies are a bit slow. Yeah. Okay, because they're using the same procurement committee, one town clerk, one director of finance, one director of engineering, one director of planning. Okay, to look at issues of the 4 constituencies. For instance, Ndola district, we've got 4 constituencies. So the same will sit for Kabushi, Bwana Mukubwa, Ndola Central, and Chifubu. Okay, so this slows down a bit. And also issues of working culture, which are still there in the councils. Yes, they are trying their level best, but they can do much better. So those are some of the issues which drag. Okay, but you find constituencies if a district has got one constituency, like Chirilabombwe constituency, from my older brother Honorable Kabusu, like Nalolo constituents for Honorable Wamnyima, my young brother. Okay, for all these constituencies which have one constituencies, they're a bit faster because when they're sitting for one constituency. Yeah. Okay, they're not sitting today. We sit for one, we wait another one. Yeah. Kitu has got five constituencies, so Kitu City Council will sit for 5. Okay, so this has been some of the issues which we need to ensure that certain city councils where there's too much work, something can be done to ensure that there's quick implementation. Yeah. But otherwise, all being said, we've seen the traction and projects are standing in Bwana Mukubwa. People have gotten loans in Bwana Mukubwa. People have got bursaries and skills in Bwana Mukubwa. Balea abana kuma bursaries, kuma noteki, beosa. They're doing these livelihood skills, and we can attest to it that is happening. So but CDF what I should say is CDF is a game changer. Bwana Mukubwa first 2022 we sent 1,150 students. 2023 we sent 1,250, and this year we're also sending. So we can see. Okay, but even when you do that, Angel, where are you harvesting those kids? Okay, they should be a back-to-back. When they go and do driving, when they go and do what, they should get employed. So this is the other challenge which is remaining is unemployment, because people can get the skills, but they also need to get employed.
Yes, and then maybe one issue before we move to other issues, Honorable. The people of Bwana Mukubwa are saying Jacaranda area. They're saying that prior to 2021, there's an issue that you promised of the availability of water supply in that particular area. And people of Jacaranda area are still waiting for this particular, promise that you made. How far have you gone on ensuring that there's, readily made available water in that particular area where, complaints seem to still come from there?
Thank you, Angel. Not only Jacaranda, we have Chakalanda, we have Mushili, we have Lupili, we have Upper Ndeke and Lower, as well as Alupili. First and foremost, there was a policy direction. Okay, that's why Bwana Mukubwa, you've never heard Bwana Mukubwa debate about boreholes through the Ministry of Water, because for us in Ndola district, we are benefiting from the Kafulafuta Water Project. $440 million, which should be commissioned this August as we speak. Okay, and some of these DN11, DN12 pipes have been laid and done in most parts of Bwana Mukubwa constituency as well as other constituencies. What we are waiting for, because that Kafulafuta Water Project is going to feed into Bwana Mukubwa. It's going to feed into other districts, because it's for 5 districts. It's Ndola, Luansha, Mpongwe, Masaiti, and Kafulafuta. The 5 are the ones benefiting from. But what we should also be alive to is that is an earth dam. An earth dam harvests water from the rains. Okay? Then now they start to pass that water through the processing plant, and they feed now the people the water. So as it's being completed, Kafulafuta opened one line. Some other areas, yes, we've mitigated a bit of water issues, although it's rationed. But once there's adequate water in that 8th dam, then issues of water in Jacaranda, issues of water in Mushili, I think what we'll be grappling with are old pipes. There's a best here, can they fix? That is what leakages, that is what we'll be grappling with. But issues of water, we've been adequately promised that once it's commissioned and there's adequate water, then that will be an issue of the past. So let me re-echo and affirm and tell the people of Jacaranda, people of Mushili, Lupili, Ndeke, that once this is commissioned and we have adequate rains, this issue should be an issue of the past. Because government has given us a policy direction and how all those who are benefiting from Kafulafuta water, they don't need to be given bores through the Ministry of Water. That is how it has been put straight forward. Okay. Thank you so much.
I would like you to address the issue of democracy in Zambia. Now, opposition, political leaders have claimed that the democratic space in Zambia is shrinking. But the ruling government says, no. Actually, if there's a time when there's a democracy, is now. Now, I'll take you to a recent incident that happened yesterday, where the former Republican president was in Lusaka's CBD, went there to pick up some few things, to buy some few things, according to the Post, and that attracted a lot of people. And that we also saw a reaction from the police, warning or cautioning the former head of state that he has to do his activities within the confines of the law. We also saw chief government spokesperson urge the former Republican president to respect the rule of law. And there's been a lot of backlash, because the chief government spokesperson said, look, this is a democracy that we've been speaking about. The former head of state is free to go in town, do his business, and no one is going to be there to harass him and whatnot. Maybe before we get to the democratic space, what did you make of the former, head of state's visit to Lusaka CBD?
Thank you so much, Angel. First and foremost, he's a Zambian. He can go to City Market and pick what he needs to pick, but he should also realize that he's a statesman, he's a former head of state, and people supported him and they still support him. So with that in mind, you know definitely that there will be a level of commotion. Okay? Then in your mind, in your own interrogation, because you need to interrogate your mind and say, if I go and do that, what will be the outcome? Okay? There will be commotion, there will be traffic jams, there will be all these things happening. So what is your intent? What is your intention? Because that's now it goes to intention. Okay, and it should be cognizant that first and foremost, he's a former head of state. He's got a following. Okay, and as we speak, he's still enjoying state security. Is also state property. So all those things are things which he should realize and look at. Okay, do I need to go there and walk and cause commotion? What is the intention? Because to everything there should be an intention.
But,
yes.
but just in your submission, the first thing that you started with, he is a Zambian.
Yes.
Meaning he's got the rights of me and everyone. He is a Zambian, right?
Of course.
So then you are talking about that he's a statesman and there's an intent commotion.
Yes.
So does that automatically mean that he cannot do certain things because he is a former head of state?
Angel, get this thing very, very in black and white. When you are doing something, you've got an intention. What do I want to achieve? Okay? Because, he can send some people to go there. And they do what he wants to do.
What
okay?
if he wants to go on his own?
That's what I'm saying. What is your intent? Because you know what to happen. So do you want to go and make that thing to happen? Okay? So you need to examine yourself. What is my stature? Even if he just starts walking, there'll be commotion. Okay? So is it deliberate that I should do that and create a certain narrative? That is a question, because these are politics. What he's doing is politicking. It's politics. He said he's gone back to the political dispensation. So these are politics. So he wants to create a certain narrative. That's why he went to...
considered view, what was the motive?
No, for me, he wants to create a narrative. That's why he went to work. He wants to see, there's commotion, people will come, they'll be talking things and stuff like that. Because, Angel...
So it was deliberate. He wanted sort of people to complain.
It's a deliberate move to create a certain narrative, and that narrative is what he went to create. And watch their space, okay? But what he should know is that there's a law, okay? And it's important, actually, as a statesman, to ensure that the law is followed, okay? Nobody is refusing for him to. He does that. He would drive, going to where you get off the car. He's in Kapiri. He's buying something.
Yeah,
that's fine.
But you know where the line comes in. He is a statesman, but is back into active politics.
Yes, that's
you think that that's okay because he's back.
That's where now all these issues, the law and what starts to come in. Okay. And issues like that, okay? Because now you're back in active politics, okay? There's commotion, there's stampede, a person dies. What will come out of it? You see what I mean? So that all these things, even as leaders, we need to interrogate ourselves. Well, okay, will it be safe for me to go and no? I think there might be a stampede. So, gentlemen, what we'll do is we'll walk by, I'll be in the car, I'll open the window, I'll wave, I can come out and quickly jump into the car and go. Okay.
What if he wants to have, an interaction with the people? He wants to have a closer interaction with the people. He's back in active politics.
Angel.
So he's back.
Angel.
He has to talk
first
to the
and
people.
foremost, there's no monopoly of wisdom. Okay, that is the other issue. I'll continue to address. I want to interact with the people. So can I have, if I don't know what they do, if they apply for a permit or whatever, that I want to interact with the people. You see what I mean? In a particular manner, then security is provided. Okay, and I'm also urging the government that it's important that some of these issues are permitted. Let them have their meetings.
Yeah, because
what
I like
let them have their meetings.
Because there's also been, talking about this same democratic space, there's been a general feel by the opposition that, look, the democratic space in Zambia has shrunk. And they've just said, look, ever since the New Dawn government came into power, there's been no opposition political rally. And they're saying, look, if you want us to formalize this, at the end of the day, we're not going to be given a permit. So I might just as well walk in Lusaka's CBD. I
must as well just break the law. That's what I might just break the law.
Okay, but you are an expert. But what law then, if there's any law that has been broken there?
No, for me, first.
Is there any law that be broken?
For me, first and foremost, my perception, okay, looking at the scenario, okay, we are politicians, these are politics, okay, it's a two-way forward, okay, that is what I think I can submit to you, and that's why I said in my other statement to say, let them allow them to have rallies, and Angel, there's no monopoly of wisdom. PF had its own space, okay, it was there. Okay, and fully there. There's nothing which will change. I can assure you. There's nothing which will change. Okay, first and foremost, there's no monopoly of wisdom. You come here as a leader, you lead this country. When you go, you're gone. There's no monopoly of wisdom.
I would like to ask you a question, Honorable. In your considered view, how would you have loved the former head of state to go about things? I mean, I know you sit down and you're like, yeah, he did so much for the country, but in your individual capacity, how would you have loved him to go about it?
For me, first and foremost, Angel, like I've said, there's no monopoly of wisdom. If you had 11 years to rule, Okay, what is it that you want to come and do again in 5 years to change, which you had a chance to do?
So
okay, so first and foremost, it's a wrong move he's made, a very wrong move. What he should have done as a leader, and a leader for that political party, PF, he should have helped in the transition, bring in the new leadership, okay, and say, I'm a godfather, I'm going to sit behind, okay, okay, guys, let's sit, we've got this crisis in our party, we are going to back Mundubile, for example, as our president, back the young politician, and sit back, okay, and be a statesman. He should be going on assignment sent by the president, His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, my envoy, go to Botswana, go and talk. He's a statesman. Yeah. That is what needs to happen.
In defense, someone told me that, look, he was bored because he wasn't getting those invitations.
No. How do you get invitations when what is being portrayed is different? Okay, for me, I give due respect. He's a former head of state, but leadership. Okay, you need to show leadership. And leadership starts within your house, within your political party, your transition. Because it's the thing we've suffered in this country in terms of political parties is leadership, is transition. Look at MMD. Where is MMD today? Gone, done, buried. Okay, and this is a trajectory because why? We've got selfish leadership. There is no monopoly of wisdom, Angel. What you do, you've done your part. Me, when I do maybe my 10 years or my 5 years or my 50, I'll love to pass on the baton from Bwana Mukubwa and say, guys, who's next? I'm not Angel, I'm not Jesus. Okay, whoever comes here today, even if another leader comes, they are not going to extinguish our sufferings in this country. But we need to pick up ourselves as persons. The problem we have a citizenry which thinks, no, when Angel becomes an MP, all our problems will finish. No. Me, I used to tell them, even people, Bwana Mukubwa,
that's what you told them.
I'm not Jesus. I'll do my level best with what you've given me, with the leadership you've given me, with the portfolio you've given. I'll do my level best. When my time comes, it has come. Will I come back again and say, no, I want to come back as MP? What will I do if I haven't done in 10 years? Okay,
I would like to get an opinion from you because you're an independent member of parliament. Not the UPND, not the PF, not PNUP, not these other political parties, but as an independent member of parliament.
Yes.
There's been these concerns of the shrinking democratic space. Now, others have given examples of the National Assembly. They've given of how debates are done, of how certain, individuals that represent maybe the opposition political parties are curtailed from talking. We've heard those stories. But as an independent member of parliament, what is your opinion on this alleged shrinking democratic space in Zambia?
Thank you so much, Angel. Let me start with Parliament. Okay? Parliament has got rules. We are guided by the standing orders. The way we debate, what we do, and everything, and ourselves. Okay? And it's a club. We've been elected and put there. First and foremost, we need to abide by the standing orders. Okay? But if you come with a narrative, okay, because you see, it's a twofold. Some people in that parliament misbehave. Some, they just come to embarrass the presiding officers. Some just come to embarrass the government. Some, you see, even when you are providing checks and balances, you can provide them in an amicable manner, in a well-structured manner, okay? You've seen some of us, we've never had a lot of issues in parliament because of your behavior. Okay, first you ought to behave as an honorable member of parliament. Okay, you see what I mean? There are other opposition members there. They speak. Okay, they speak, they debate, they do what? Okay, but imagine every time I stand to debate, am I the indirectly insulting the presiding officer? I'm demeaning this person, I'm demeaning this person. They will curtail you.
So you think that's the case with these that are complaining?
That, as I said, remember, I said twofold.
Yeah.
Okay? The people behave like that. Okay? And they are curtailed. Okay? But also, probably from the aspect of the presiding officers. Okay? not all is also rosy, but we need to find a platform. We need to find a way, because that is a house of laws, and that place everybody as a representation, because they are voted in to come and represent their people. So they ought to speak, and they're given chance.
And that's the argument to say, look.
No, but they're given chance. Angel.
Honorable Speaker, why are you curtailing me from talking when I represent the people? When I speak, I don't speak, let's say, for instance, as only Honorable Mwambazi. I'm speaking for Bwana Mukubwa.
Of course.
That's their argument.
Of course. That is true. But you come to speak on behalf of your people, and you come there to insult. You come here to demean people. There are rules. There's language. There's parliamentary language. So even as you come, that's why I'm saying you can bring a point. It doesn't mean for me to get to you, I need to insult you. I can drive my point very subtle, but my point is being heard. You see what I mean? So this is what I'm saying. It's a twofold, because both parties need to come with clean hands. Okay, you cannot accuse somebody, but you've got a narrative you want to create. People come there, they go outside, caucus, and come up with, we are going to say this is how we're going to behave. It's a rest.
So as an independent member of parliament, do you think some members of parliament are irresponsible with the way they debate?
Some they are irresponsible, and some they use bad language. Some they, even if it were you, Angel, sitting on that seat as a presiding officer, people demean you. I mean, every person wants to defend themselves. Okay, they also come with wrath and defend themselves. Okay, yes, there are certain extremes which cannot be also supported. You see what I mean? But sometimes, that's what I'm saying, it's a twofold, because it's how people behave. It's how people project themselves. It's why are other members not in trouble? That is where the question is. But I'm saying what is important, we need to strike a balance. Okay? We need to strike a balance. Okay, but the problem is everything is politics.
Everything is politics.
Everything. Right, I want to go and tomorrow I'm going to embarrass this one. So I'm going to debate ABCD. It shouldn't be like that.
That's very unfortunate, because we the people send members of parliament to speak on our behalf. So it shouldn't really be about attacking and embarrassing one another.
But have you noticed something?
Speaking for us.
But have you noticed something, Angel?
No, I haven't.
Even those people who've got bad language, who don't, who aim at embarrassing some of these presiding officers, are given chance to talk when they indicate. They are given chance.
Oh, that's a different view, because I've heard
they are given chance. They are given chance, but when they start veering off, they are curtailed. Then they are guided. Can you concentrate and speak on this? Proceed, honorable member.
Okay.
They proceed, but they'll veer off again.
Let's talk outside parliament.
Yes.
Let's talk about this issue of the opposition not having public rallies. They're saying, look, this is one attack on democracy, because the opposition should be allowed to have rallies. They should be allowed to have a conversation with the people. For me,
on that aspect, I think I partially commented on it, and my take is, let government give them permission to carry out.
So there's a problem there.
Yeah, let them give them permission. You know why, Angel?
No.
If it's the same thing, the history tends to repeat itself. We know what happened in the previous dispensation. Okay? We know what happened. And you see what people go? People start to sympathize. What is important is, let them give them permission to have their rallies in a structured way and manner. Okay? Then let's see where we head to. I can assure you, Angel, that we've seen these things. Okay? That's why I keep saying there's no monopoly of wisdom, especially for other leaderships. There's nothing which they will do differently. Okay? You see what I mean? Even if you brought them back today and say this, it will even be worse off. Okay? Life has got turbulences. When President Mwanawasa became president, there were all these issues of privatization, okay? And the economy was not okay. But God blessed him. Copper price just shot up. Okay? So there are all these factors which happen in every dispensation. It's not the first time. Okay? All we need to understand is leadership comes from God.
Yeah. leadership comes from God. If I was then to put a cap on it and say, you answer this question, yes or no, is the democratic space shrinking in Zambia?
For me, I would say I cannot give a yes and no. What I'm saying is people have got freedom of expression. They can go to radios, they can do what, What is important, because also the
no.
No, wait. Also, what we should look, we need Angel to dissect this thing. People, that's what I'm saying. Problem in Zambia, everything is politics. I've said the government should allow them, give them leeway to have that is whatever they want to have. Okay, that is important for opposition. We need opposition for checks and balances. Okay, if you kill opposition, you don't have. It also helps the government to wake up and work hard on certain aspects. Okay, yeah. But also let's not over politicize this issue, because a narrative is being created like it's that bad. It's not that bad. Okay. Like you were saying, people can walk into city market. People can walk in what? What needs to be done is both parties, they need to find an amicable way and solution. Okay? Because people also overproject certain things. When you hear about them, okay, this is being overprojected. You see what I mean? So they should be allowed. Okay? Yeah. That is important for also for democracy, for opposition to provide checks and balances. President Mwambazi performed because of Microsat.
Yeah. Honorable, let's hear what our callers and our people that are listening to the program have to say. The number is 0956-200-490. 0956-200 is the number that you're calling the studio and having a conversation with the Honorable this morning. 0956 200-490. I do have quite a number of text messages here. This one says, good morning, Honorable. Great to have you on the program, listening. All right, no name for this one. Let me get back to the text messages. Let me get this caller. Good morning. You are through to the program.
Yes, good morning, my brother.
Yes, your name and where are you calling us from?
Wash Precious to Gateway.
Yes, Wash Precious.
Good morning, the panelists.
Wash Precious, Mashuka Shan Kunkanok.
Now, Democrats, to nobody in Fadandu Cheo Mukosa, Variant of nobody in. Then Wafada Sarangeta, Varande Parutosh, Hama Saudi, Bishop Mwavetana Santani, Lucifer, Bagatolica. Nobody Nesiapa, Walungu, Babutuke Coffee, Yotafe Vaenda. Babete kushiri kundola mwabata block wa UPNC bande kofe bumuse wae mkushita tomato ati yoruko tumute salmon so Mozambia Democrats modi na UPNC as a coordinator so alela ya definitely kalero sana my brother ungakwisa kuma iko siafin ungatwa usangeshinga wa UPNC 120 breakfast 25 kg lola meal 80 kwacha target is 2 kg ya sugar pesa ngeshinga 33 kwacha 36 kwacha ile 2 kg ya sugar 75 so itunga utwasange pali 120 350 katen yoko twasange pali 40 kwacha na 50 kwacha kali 190 150 Zambia turechura. I think my brother to find a mistake my brother to find a mistake 2021 ukuvola ukuteka wa wantu then twayavula ule teke sina moto apera wantu. That's why I feel to mwene. Thank you.
All right. Let's see if I can get another caller. Oof, sorry. Actually lost that caller. You can call back on the number 0956-200-490. Let me read out another text message here. This one says, good morning, bro. Angel and Honorable Mwambazi. Democracy today is more divisive. It has brought about groupings and battles, fighting even the things that are beneficial. If left unchecked, it will be a disaster. Joe from Quito. Thank you so much,
true.
Joe.
That's true.
Great to know that you are listening. Good morning. You are through to the program.
Hello, good morning. Thank you. How are you?
Very well. Your name and where are you calling us from?
This is IC from Mwambazi.
You said IC?
IC from Solwezi.
IC from Solwezi. Go ahead with the contribution.
Thank you so much. How are you, Honorable?
Morning, IC. I'm well. How's the Solwezi Kabanga?
Solwezi Mabanga is doing fine. Yeah. First of all, let me talk about, I've got two issues. First of all, I'll talk about the issue of Kaflafuta Dam. I think as for me, there's a lot that is needed to be done on that particular project because, look, for the people of Masai there and in Kaflafuta, when you talk of the connectivity in terms of pipes and whatsoever, you find that there is a lot that is needed to be done because when you look at the way house has been built in that area, you find that it's difficult for the pipes to get connected. So people will have it difficult to get the house connected to that particular to water. So what is needed for the government is that they need also to tell these people who are building houses to build houses in a manner that even if they are to be connected to water, it won't be difficult for them to get connected. So the second one is talking of the ladies. I heard you, Mr. Honorable there. You are saying no, they were supposed to be actually given chance to hold the ladies. But one thing that you have to consider is that if, for example, for my state actually want to hold the ladies, at what capacity? That's the question that we have to be asking ourselves. This is where the confusion is. At what capacity or in which capacity that the former head of state is going to hold the land? This is where confusion is coming from. Today in PF, there is confusion. There is the Mao Sampa, there is also the other. So I think this is where now it's getting confused because if they go to the police or to whoever that authorizes the rallies, they need to provide what capacity are they going to hold the rally for.
Okay.
So if they are not going to provide that they are coming from which organization, I think that's where confusion is coming from.
Right.
We need to make sure that we follow the way it's supposed to be.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Great to know that you are listening, Mr. Ice, and our honorable is going to respond to you. Good morning. You are through to the program.
Good morning, Angel.
Yes, your name and where you calling us from?
Indicate Bashmarani. Mushani Honorable.
Shani Bashmarani.
Ubuchushi na bukikata kuno ubuchushi mwini Honorable. Eno ngana mwona ngachakwe wati ubuteku ngana bukwato mwinso gula panganani ima mistakes kayengi. Mulandu wakwe wati nena uteko bulipo uleko ngaba opposition ke problem bakola lufya nyasi. Pena ba new don ngachakwe wati mwina Zambia engabatasha. And we're going to security into Valilaya, Mungo Watchpa, Mikalia Vandilia Vipisha. So Bangafia Queva, to take government, Sunga Quato Monzaco Fiana, Fiacola Pangama mistakes, saying, so when our government, Tababombish.
Okay.
Fintuna, we pay into one din, all Zambia Valila and Kumqua, not okay.
Thank you so much, Washim Malan, for your contribution. Let's get more.
Yeah, sure.
Good morning. You are through to the program.
Morning, how are you?
Very well. Your name and where are you calling us from?
We are talking to Morgan within the staff.
Oh, Mr. Morgan. Go ahead with the contribution.
Is it Mr. Mwambazi?
Yes, Honorable Mwambazi. Morgan Shani.
Very normally Shani.
Tawu ino wakalam.
Natushinga loti ya mwari pengaia ku komando.
Twari lungisha.
Bwana Mukubwa hikala sana.
Emkwa.
Ati nomba achiningalanda pochaptira. Kwe bonsecho tungalanda to those people who are saying there is a shrinking democracy. But for me, I think we all abiding law citizens. But kujumpa red line. Tufire tuakonka mafunde. Number one. Takulu kukako muntu mwabika mbase oshikweto mulandu. Kanti na omulandu mwabika mbasero asumwenda
chakwetwa mulandu panti na Yesu bali mubikire oshikwetwa mulandu so every fire kupera omukishi na kutingira mukasa vya chalo. The first issue is about to respect each other and respect the human rights. We are free to move, we are free to associate, but associate with lawlessness should not condone. Let us associate with respect. And we are bakapokola bantu eba sopomtende. So this is the issue why we are saying some people went to American embassy to report some government official saying America should sanction these people. There's democratic shrinking, which is not necessary. I think thank you very much, Miguel.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Morgan. Great to know that you are listening. Let's get the last caller. Good morning. You are through to the program.
Good morning, Roger.
Yes, your name and where you calling us from?
My name is Mulonda. I'm calling from Ndola, Bwana, Mukubwa Constituency.
Yes, Mr. Mulonda, go ahead with the contribution.
I'm stressing on me, Bwana Mukubwa. Morning, Honorable.
Ramulonda, good morning. How's Mushiri?
Tuavuka, Mushiri Lishewila.
Twatotera.
Mu 2021, Amazambians tabarushe nyawe, badi sala febwino. Badi sala obutungurushi washi bokuteka. Acho barela bokutirati, amafya tulepitamo lelo so. Yensala tuledila, imitengo tulela ndapo. Ni result ya policies ya buteko bwafuminepo. Shosenga fyali bwinonga bena basangirero MMD barefu mapo kutirati shose filipo na PM luri mu makofazi ya jaro. Ngatature chula ngeshi nomba mulando okutati fyasangire fyonse nafyo naika economy corruption tribalism kadarism fishi legal alo fingi fyali on track nomba okutati silungame it will take time.
Okay,
that's why today Peter Mafia na abungo kutula na shana at the same time now somebody came from Bwana Mukubwa. What is this part of Bwana Mukubwa? Ko ukuli smaguri ni hivi sana daring so what atafanya mesho wangachitaba abaloresha po.
Okay,
Bare katira na mabala ayashira abashira funyamata bare katira mu bare katira kare kutwala ku Kongo ni fwe mutuleleta fwe bene then we say yo uteko na ya contribute to this.
okay,
So,
all right. No, thank you so much. We'll have to let you go because of time. We're running out of time, but thank you so much.
Sure.
And the Honorable has got.
The political will. Okay, thank you. The political will to solve these problems. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you so much. Great to know that Bwana Mukubwa is tuned in. I actually saw another message. I know, Honorable, we've got a lot of your time on the cause, but we also just wanted people to have a conversation with you. Morning, my angel and the Honorable. The fact is that the Honorable is not clearly responding as in whether the democratic space is shrinking or not. It is evident enough that it is shrinking. Raymond Kitwe. Thank you so much, Raymond. We'll have to give you a chance to respond to some of those concerns, and some that are like you can just put them together so that I've got two questions for you, two more questions in 7 minutes. So
No problem. And a bit of more callers.
Well, 10 minutes, so we'll close the phone line.
Thank you, Angel. Very grateful. Bash Precious from Kitwe, highlighting on some of those issues. However, I won't dwell on name calling and all that. I think my take is to look at the cost of living, which is mentioned in terms of mealie meal, breakfast, and what the price it was at. And I think, Angel, we did tackle some of these issues. There's the issue of demand and supply. Yes. And what we said is even through this intervention, which government has come with through the ZNS, but there's a robust system which government should look at, and we've made suggestions of those issues where they can look at all these private millers and also harmonize and sit down with them and have a table discussion to say, gentlemen, if I gave you maize at this floor price and slightly cheaper, will we mitigate and look at minimum price to come down in this? Because that way it got a quick effect and a ripple effect in which now it can be felt even on the ground. ground because everybody walk to the market to ShopRite and they find that there's mealie meal. But you see, people walk to Choppies and they only wait for mealie meal from ZNS. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's other mealie meal on the shelves. So these are some of the precious interventions which can be done. We've seen the coming back of Mopani. I'm talking about this because it's from Kitwe. So these are some of these things. Yes, there are long-term effects, but eventually they will start to pull back and push into the economy to ensure that people have got where they can go and do a piece work, they can get some work, they can supply. And in the end, they're able to afford certain basic essentials. But we also should understand that an economy is a vicious cycle. That it's got a lot of composition of different things. And it's through harmonization of these things, that's where we can have a lower cost of living, lower food basket. And this should have a deliberate policy. Like we're talking about issues of fuel, how do we mitigate this monthly revision to ensure that there's stabilization? I think I did mention those things. Then also there's IC from Solwezi. He was talking about the way structures are done in Masaiti. How then will they benefit? Because people should build houses which can facilitate the coming in of pipes for water reticulation. I think that I'll leave it to probably the local authority in Masaiti and my other colleagues to advise our colleagues from there to ensure that they've got structures which can facilitate for water. And also he did mention about issues of rallies. Which name would they use? There was an issue of UCA, applied, it was not registered and all that. What we are saying is a twofold. Okay, the other political parties which are registered, Angel. So what we're saying, let them have their rallies if they're registered and they've got the promoters under them. Those who've got confusion and they don't know which one is president of that political parties, maybe that can be an exception. But those ones which are registered and they are functional, let them have some of these and let's see where they get. Because like I said, opposition brings in checks and balances, which will help also weaken the whatever government is there to ensure that because there's no Angel, get me right, there's no government, there's no MP who sits and says, yes, I want to fix my people from the constituency, I want to do this. There's nobody. Everybody wants to perform to the expectation of the people. That's why we are there. When you perform, people are happy with you. They extend your mandate. So I don't think there's a particular government which sits and says, if we to fix or to do what. No. They try. Their number one priority is the welfare of the citizens of Zambia. That's what we should know. Only when it's beyond their control and they're not able to. That's when you see now, okay, there's an issue here because they're not able to, you see. But they're trying to put all this mitigation. Look at this drought. There are all these interventions through the Ministry of Community Development that people are getting on social cash transfer just for this period to insulate them on this.
Others have argued that that's not sufficient.
It's not, but you see, it's a short-term measure, okay, because we are looking forward for another rain season. So it's just going from now maybe to another rain season and then it falls off. Okay, it cannot be the solution, okay, but it's a mitigation measure. You mitigate. When now you overcome that challenge, it's out. Okay, it can't be long term, of course. Can we all in the country be under social cash transfer? It's not possible. But Malani was saying the government should concentrate on its promises and not being scared of opposition or what they should. It's important because all of us, even us as MPs, is what we promise the people. Is what we are focusing on. Kuno alibebera tinkaleta menshi. Kuno alibebera tukarusha kuka grade tulese omuso. Kuno kwali tukako clinic. Kuno riskuru. And through CDF, which the government has given us, good CDF, we are doing those things at a particular scale. So that is very important, is to focus on the ball and ensure that deliverables are done for the Zambian people. We don't have cadres now. Okay, but that's not the only thing. There are much more things we need to move forward. Issues of unlawful detention, I think Mr. Morgan, I think even the president did mention that on one public forum to say, if people are arrested or the suspects, and they shouldn't be in cells for 8 hours. They should be given a bond and appear in court and proceed, because that is what the law stipulates, and that's what ought to be done. Okay, but you see again, there are all these issues, Angel. It's not the first time. Okay, The president will sit there, probably. He doesn't even know. Okay? What he knows, there's a law which even policemen should follow. Okay? But people just say, as I end out. Will the president come down? Have you removed that? No. Then there's a system. That's why there's a system, governance system. So the governance system should ensure that laws are followed to the latter to ensure that there's constitutionalism and rule of law. Mr. Mulonda, I think it's connected to what the caller said, I think from Kitu as Precious. This one is saying we did it wrong in 2021, did it right. For me, I think what's important is let's see where we get to, because there is no government which has got a mandate to mistreat its people. Every government comes in to ensure that it takes care of the welfare of its people.
Two last questions, of which I would like you to answer them both in 30 seconds. I know it's not possible, but we just remain with 2 minutes before we wrap up.
Yeah.
A text message here from Charles says, I like how the Honorable is speaking. And I wouldn't be surprised if he joins the ruling UPND. Ask him, does he want to stand on the UPND ticket in 2026 so that we know? Charles. He's asking.
I'm independent. And the elections...
He's saying you're speaking so well of maybe what the UPND...
No.
According to...
Angel, even in Parliament, I speak well. If PF did well, I say they did well. If PF failed, I say they failed. If UPND fails, I'll say it has failed. Where it will do well, I'll say it is do well. That is my politics. And I'll speak like that because I don't like to politicize everything. What is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. That is what my brother should know. Okay. I'm speaking what is right. Because let me tell you one thing quickly in 1 second.
Please.
Even today, I was PF. PF shouldn't come out like they're angels. No, that's wrong. Okay? That's wrong. They did good things and they did bad things. Let us accept. Okay? UPND is here, they are doing things. We'll also be able to judge them by the end of the day. To say this you've scored, this you have not scored. That is politics we want.
Okay.
Moving forward.
Another 30 seconds. We have seen ECZ float a tender for printing ballot papers for by-elections and also the general elections in 2026. Do you think as a nation we are ready to go this route of locally printing ballot papers for our next general election? 30 seconds.
Why don't we trust ourselves? When we always, no, even in counter time, were we always importing ballot papers? No. Let's trust our systems. That's why I said from inception, Angel, when we started, we need to have strong institutions. Okay? When we have strong institutions, even if when the president gets up and say, I want to do this, the institution will say, Your Excellency, this you can't do because it doesn't allow you. But the problem we have in Zambia, we've got weak institutions. And weak institutions cannot take us anywhere. We need to have strong institutions, which, even me, I become president today, another one becomes president tomorrow. They will tell you, look at Donald Trump when he became president. They will tell him, this you can't do, this you can't do. Then he said, but who's the president? That is why we need to have strong institutions. We don't want these politics of even what is good should be bad. When you support, you seem to be aligned to this one. When you condemn, you seem to be... PF did good things and bad things. So they are not angels. Okay? And they should own up for their mistakes and they should own up for good things they did.
Okay.
The same with UPND. They are doing things which are good, they're in power. By the end of the day, let's give them chance and we'll judge them also to say, this you've done well, this you've done bad. That is where Angel I stand for, and these are the politics I want to bring to Parliament.
Thank you so much for making it through to today's edition of Chatback, Honorable. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're very busy, but then you decided to squeeze us in. We are really, really grateful.
Chatback on RCV News.